Whichever store I go to, I buy a product from the store nearby. After 1 week, I'll go buy another product. I'll see the bill cuts. So how many customers have come to that store? Should I have opened 100 stores less and put that capital into marketing? Yes. That is one place where I will say that I did not take the right call. I think sometimes you drive so fast that you don't know which tire is burning.
Yeah.
You need that reset. On the first day of the internship is when I get to know it's a free internship. It's not a paid internship.
Right.
So my story is very close to the pursuit of happiness. The smartest way is let somebody else create the market, you follow. Learn from others' mistakes. Learn from others' data.
Welcome to our podcast, Beat the Odds. In this, we're going to converse with entrepreneurs, marketeers, founders, and talk to them about their journey and how do they really beat the odds. What are those challenges? What are those learnings? And really dig deeper and unpeel those learnings from across the board. Our today's guest actually started from investment banking at Morgan Stanley and went on to join the family business, which had one eyewear retail store. Today, they have 275. He went on to scale from 1 to 300, scaled it down, and today on a path to opening 1,000 stores across South India. So welcome to the show, Pratik. Welcome to Beat the Odds. Great to have you here, Pratik. When I was, we know each other for a few years now, but when I was researching and trying to understand your journey, what did come up was you had probably a different path planned for yourself. It looks like you were in the US, you studied, and you went on to do finance and investment banking. So tell us how was that pivot from moving from the US, coming down here, and how is that period like?
Yeah. Firstly, thanks for the opportunity. I think moving to the every stage in the career was very last minute. Like me planning to do my masters in industrial engineering while I was at Venkateshwara doing my engineering, then moved to the US, started pursuing my industrial engineering under the myth that for MBA you need to have a experience and you can do a B school. But then I happened to go talk to the B school and they asked me to write my GMAT and I switched to B school.
Right.
So that's how I went for my MBA and pursued my MBA at Oklahoma State over there. Why Oklahoma State? Because I already was there for my industrial engineering.
Right.
Why did I select Oklahoma State for industrial engineering? I think it was one among the top 50 and the least fees. So the central belt of the US, right?
Right.
And so did that, and during my post-graduation in B school, I was one of the fortunate guys to actually get into a internship. I actually got an internship with a law firm in Boston. And when I went to Boston over there, I think it was just 3 days into my internship, and then their old person came back. So I think I was the fastest fired person over there. So they said, look, our old recruiters come back whom we had made an offer. So we might have you to actually, discontinue the internship. And I was completely perplexed because moving from Oklahoma to Boston, your fees, your stay, cost of living is like from $300 to $2,000. And we never had any scholarships or anything there. So while I was in Boston, I still remember, going and searching on the internet for internship opportunities. And that's when I saw one post by Harvard Business School. Happened to go to the Harvard Business School into the library area, and I saw this post of internships wanted Morgan Stanley. Obviously, Morgan Stanley wanted Harvard students.
Right.
And so I applied to that internship and went and met the HR at the internship. I cleared both the rounds. And while I cleared both the rounds, and in the final round, they said, why don't you, join us immediately? I said, yeah, I'm very happy. I'm good. I never actually had the courage to actually ask them what will I get paid.
Right.
On the first day of the internship is when I get to know it's a free internship. It's not a paid internship.
Right.
So my story is very close to the pursuit of happiness.
Nice.
Very close. I mean, I've lived that story in the US, So while I went for my internship, I spoke to my HR and my boss, and he said, look, Pratik, we will give you a brand on your resume.
That's what they're paying you.
That's what you are here for, right?
Yeah.
We are going to give you the brand of Dean Witter Morgan Stanley on your resume and the network that you will have over here. And my job was exactly calling up people for my boss on fixing appointments for him on, where would you like to put your 401k,
Right.
where would you like to invest. And I used to learn the products at Morgan Stanley.
Nice.
That's when I got exposed to derivatives, right? So my 3 months were actually very good because I was on the trading floor, learning how derivatives are traded, learning how mutual funds are sold, learning how investments are done. And I really actually fell in love with the category of investment. And that's when I actually got exposed to investment banking. It was a feather on the cap because for Oklahoma State, I was the first guy ever who actually got into Morgan Stanley.
Right. Nice.
So they treated me well when I came back. I got a scholarship because I got a Morgan Stanley free paid intern. I got an internship because Morgan Stanley and OSU got related. They said, okay, now we are going to give you a scholarship. So actually, everything works fine. Did that, completed my internship, came back to OSU, completed my education. I did not really enjoy the US. Maybe I've never been in the US. That's why the only two cities I've been in Stillwater and Boston. That's it. I've done 3 months in Boston and pretty much in Stillwater in OSU. So I was always wanting to come back to India. I really did not enjoy my stay in the US. I said, when I can afford this country back, I will come.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And
but
life
my
as a student and an
yeah,
intern
yeah,
is not
yeah,
glamorous
yeah,
there.
yeah. But my wish was to see the Statue of Liberty. So I took my last flight off on 25th December from New York.
Nice.
So that's how I came back to India. Now, why I came back to India? Because I wanted to do something back over here. And being the only son in the family, my family was like, come back, it's okay here. We are from a very middle class family, right? And post coming back, my family hails from the eyewear industry. My dad has
Yes.
been a wholesaler throughout. My granddad runs a store in north of Chennai. So I've always seen eyewear in my family, but obviously I didn't want to be in this. So I actually found a job at Kaufman Brothers. Kaufman Brothers is basically a buy-side research firm that writes reports.
Right.
So KPO was trending there, knowledge process
Right.
outsourcing. So I used to write buy-side reports for the telecom, retail, and semiconductor industry, and I worked with them. My salary was like 25,000 a month. It was like just work out of a small house in Bangalore because my boss used to be in Bangalore and my big boss used to be in New York. So he used to get the reports. I used to kind of do the modeling and give it back to them. Did that for 4 5 months. I used to keep coming down on weekends to Chennai. My dad, in the process, was winding up his business of wholesale and getting into retail.
Right.
So he started his first store in Ananagar called Venkateshwara Optics.
Yes.
On Second Avenue. It was a 220 square feet store. Just prior to 3 or 4 days before the store was opening, I think he had a medical emergency, and I happened to kind of hospitalize him. So I had to come down and do the opening for the store. And since he could not come back to the business at least for a couple of weeks, I was sitting at the store. And since I was doing my research anyway, working from home, I was doing that in the night.
Right.
So happened, I sat at the store, started meeting customers, started learning what it is about the business and everything. But obviously, I knew this is going to be for a short while.
Yeah.
It's nothing
This
that
wasn't part of the plan.
it was not destined.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Sometimes what you learn helps you to do more. So I started basically researching the eyewear industry, being a research analyst.
Yeah.
I started seeing what's this category about, how it is, because I'm writing buy-side reports for semiconductor industry. Let me study this industry. Started seeing international chains, started seeing, I said, wow, this is a big business because 99% was unorganized.
Yeah.
And I was meeting consumers. So I used to do consumer research every day. I had a questionnaire in the store and I used to keep asking. So there were certain pain points. If you are a brand, you're too expensive.
Hmm.
If
Yeah.
you're very affordable, you can't be a brand. You can't
Yeah.
be the Bata of eyewear. You can't be the. There was no value for money offering in this category. Everybody was just taken for a ride.
Yeah.
Like buying glasses was uncle ki dukaan down the road. I'll go buy it
Yeah.
and come.
I
At
remember
that
doing
point in
that when I
time,
was
you
a kid.
had
Yeah.
the big guys, obviously who are very large format stores, or you had the entire mom and pop industry, which was
Yeah.
98%.
Yeah.
At that point in time, you didn't have any big player in chain store, but you had
Correct.
individual players who were very big,
Yeah.
and they did a phenomenal job because always selling brands. So perception was, if I need a good pair of glasses, I have to pay through the roof,
Yeah.
right? And you had SLR and other brands that were selling through the all multi-brand was only working. There was no single brand retail in this, and the margins were through the roof for these people, right?
Yeah.
So you are a mere seller. You're buying from a distributor and selling to the consumer. You're just doing a transaction in between. So you can't acquire customers because it's not your own brand. You can't run discounts. It's not your own brand. You can't do anything. But I said, okay, yaar, I'm not going to be a part of the industry. Why am I actually putting my head into it too much? I still remember one day in 2005 or 2006, they have this particular instruments that, SLR sells. And I said, look, I want to buy this instrument. How much is it? They said it's about 25 to 28,000 rupees. I said, okay. And while I doing my research, at that time Alibaba was coming up quite a bit.
Right.
So I went on Alibaba to look for the same machine. And it was like $60. Dollar was 42. Like this 2,400
Ten-
bucks and he's telling me
10% of it.
25,000 rupees.
Yeah.
Then I chatted with the person on the other side on Alibaba, and the gentleman and that supplier said that we supply this across the world. We supply to a lot of brands. Then I did a research on this instrument across Chennai. Nobody was carrying it because it is too expensive. So I said, wow. So So when you go to a mom and pop store, you ask them for eye checkup, and you ask them, do you have a computerized eye checkup? but you don't know which computer it is. Is it working, not working, right? So people were
You don't know whether
only,
you can rely on it. Yeah.
yeah, people, because the person doing the eye checkup is more important, not the
Right.
machine. But majority of the USP was computerized eye test.
Yeah.
So people are only going to places where there's a computerized eye test. But nobody knew whether the computer is good, bad, ugly. So I said, why are you mom and pop guys not carrying a computer machine? They said, we can't afford it. At that point in time, only Japanese guys were selling it at 6.5, 7 lakhs, 8 lakhs.
Yeah.
So either the big brand guys used to buy it and the lower guys never had it. So
Yeah.
it was not affordable, so not accessible. Then I went to this factory in China, packed up my bags and I said, let me go to China.
Yeah.
Spent about 15 days, studied the instruments. I found that there's a huge gap because there's no single brand instrument player and there's only like a top-notch Japanese guys. I got this meter down to Chennai. I got 10 pieces and came. I sold it in like 12 hours. I sold it for like 10,000 bucks. I'm like, de do.
Yeah.
Then in that 1 year alone, we sold 500 pieces.
Nice.
Then I asked them, computerized eye machine, आप 6-7 lakh का ले रहे हो? Why don't I get you something for 2.5, 3 lakhs? They said, yes, I used to do pre-bookings.
Right. And
You
then
know?
order in China.
Yeah. So I sold crazy amount of machines in the next 2 years, sitting out of that one shop. I think we clocked a couple of crores turnover. My shop
Back
used to
then.
do 1.5 lakh a month.
Right.
That exposed me to China, that exposed me to suppliers, that exposed me to supply chain, that exposed me to a lot of things in China. But you're a single shop over here, so I obviously was not interested too. But then I said, okay, I studied the international chains and everything. I said, okay, now I want to can I make my own brand of eyeglasses now? That's how the journey started. But
Yeah.
I said, I can't be Venkateshwar Optics. I
Yeah.
need to change the name. I had only one staff, my accountant, Satish. He works now, he's an investment banker now.
Nice.
Yeah, so he
It's
was
roles have reversed.
Yeah, so he was ex Indian Air Force.
Right.
He joined me, and he now works with I think one of our EO members hedge fund.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
so great guy Satish. So he was my accountant then. Uh, I said we should give the consumer a feeling that we are manufacturers of eyewear. We make specs for them, so why not call it Specsmakers? That's it. That's how the term came.
Nice. Simple and to the point. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how we decided, okay, I want to do Specsmakers. So I opened my first store as Specsmakers in 2007. So the capital that I profited from selling machines in 3 years, I put it in my first store.
That was the capital to bootstrap.
Yeah. That was my capital because family was not supportive.
Yeah.
So I said, this is the capital I made, let me put it. I still remember putting in all the money that I earned there.
Yeah.
2007 I opened Specsmakers. 2008 I got married. So all the capital just completely flew there. And that's how Specsmakers started. It was just another mom and pop store.
Yeah.
So my first store, Venkateshwar Optics, became Specsmakers. This also became Specsmakers. 2 of them. Since I was traveling to China for my machinery, I started also building a relationship with Chinese manufacturers for frames.
Right.
Now I can't meet the MOQ.
Yeah.
Whatever they are making for other brands over there.
What is the MOQ? Like 10,000?
1,200 pieces per
Yeah.
model per color.
Ah, okay.
So I can't. I'm selling
Yeah.
like hardly 100 pieces a month.
Yeah.
So I can't do that. So then I went to the wholesale market. Then they said, no, still MOQ is at least 200 pieces per color.
Right.
I could not do. So if I'm buying something for like 600 rupees from Bombay and selling at 1,300 rupees in Chennai, I can still sell at 1,300 rupees, but can I buy it at 400 rupees?
Yeah.
Right? So the economies of scale have to work. I went and spoke to my supplier in China. I said, look, your brother's got a factory. He's making so many products for other people. In the same product line, I will not even tweak the product. In the end, when you're stamping it as XYZ, stamp it as Specsmakers and give it to me. I will take 10 pieces. If it's $2, I'll pay you $4. But I don't have to pay $10, no?
Yeah.
So I said, okay.
Start.
So we started having 50-60 models coming in our own brand. And because you're having your own brand, I was able to do marketing. I was able to offer buy one, get one. I was able to offer discounts. Opticians went against me completely. Okay, who does discounts in this category?
Right.
I was earlier controlled by distributors. Now nobody can control me because it's my own product.
Yeah.
Right? So that was on the frame part. On the lens part, I used to do white labeling. So with 2 stores, we little bit created some disruption. That's when Vasan Eye Care came into the picture. Titan Eye Plus came into the picture, right? So obviously now you're a small player, 2 guys. These guys are coming with huge capital.
Yeah.
So retaining talent was difficult. So I was not able to retain talent. 2008 opened my 3rd store again. I think I went very early in opening the 3rd store. I should have actually waited for a couple of years. But I opened in Nanganallur. Why Nanganallur? Because I said I want a store far off which I can operationally manage. 2009 opened my fourth store. 2010 opened my fifth store. 2011 we opened two more stores. Now everything was from accruals, right?
From your own cash flows.
Own cash flows, and I'm a banker but not a finance guy. So
Right.
cash flow management by me is very bad.
Right.
So I was like, okay, theek hai, because you're getting on credit, selling on cash, that cash is going to a new store. So you get into that vicious cycle of, kind of outstandings and all that. Right? 2008 to 2010 was very bad. So I said, okay, now I cannot add more stores if I want to grow. I had a vision to basically open 15 stores in Chennai to be the
Right.
largest. That was my first vision, if I
Right.
ask me.
Yeah.
So I said 15 stores ke liye, at average of 30-40 lakhs, I need 4-5 crores.
Yeah.
Where nobody's going to give you. You go to bank, the bank will say collateral chahiye. You go to, I was too early to franchise. I was not a brand that I can franchise. I didn't have any models ready. We tried, but I don't think it succeeded. So I was in a chicken and egg story. I mean,
Yeah.
capital nahi hai, dhanda karna hai. Where do I get from? That's when I got exposed to angel investing.
Right.
I never knew there's something called angel investing. Trust
Yeah.
me.
And now you do it as well
Yeah,
yourself.
Skanda, my friend,
Right.
who was my college mate, who used to work with Spark Capital, he introduced me to my first investor. And he said, Pratik, why don't you look at angel investing? And I think it struck a chord there. Me and Ashwin. Ashwin is the one who runs Anikat Capital,
Right.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Bala's partner.
Bala. Yeah.
So Ashwin and me, I think we still are together in the business. So, and we started off from there. Fulcrum was my first investor. They put in a small check. From there, we went on from 7 stores to 15 stores. By 2015, we went to 25 stores. We're like massive in Chennai now. Ramped up Chennai completely. Then from 25 to 50 in 2016, 100 in 2017. That's when we got 8 Roads as an investor.
Yeah.
Great fund.
Yeah.
I think the guy who came on the board was Sandeep. After that, there was another guy who came in. But I think it was a good journey with them also. Until 2020, till we ramped up to 300 stores. So we were like opening 120, 130 stores every year.
Yeah.
Right? Purely top line focused, not bottom line focused.
Yeah.
So not me.
That's
But
not in your DNA. Yeah.
yeah, not in my DNA at all.
Yeah.
But I think you have to do to increase shareholder wealth. I think we scaled up pretty well until COVID came. COVID was a blessing in disguise. I think sometimes you drive so fast that you don't know which tire is burning.
Yeah.
You need that reset.
You need that break in between.
Yeah. So that break gave me complete turnaround. From being a minus 12-13% EBITDA company, we turned out to be plus 6% PAT.
Nice.
We kind of, when the water is still, you see the dust.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it was
we'll dig deeper into that, but yeah, that's
So that was the journey.
Yeah.
We went on to 2017, then
Yeah.
2020 COVID, turned around the business in COVID, went down to 220 stores from 300. We're back to 275 now. Now we are scaling quite well. We are adding about 50-60 stores every year at the moment. Still south focused.
Yeah.
We changed our strategies a bit, just from being small format to slightly large format, there is good competition. The categories become very good thanks
Yeah.
to Lenskart, And I think one is the category visibility. Second, you're the only player in the category now
Yeah.
after Lenskart and then Titan.
Yeah.
So that gives us a lot of DNA and opportunity to scale faster.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know,
Makes
I
sense.
look at the retail business. This category is like, first there was no road. Now the road is late, which is the category is good. Now we're just scaling up, but
Yeah.
we are still going to be south focused till we are going 1,000 stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
And how, you did mention that the third store was too early. Why was that? Why do you feel that?
So my second store was in Feb 2007. My third store was in Feb 2008. Sometimes, you feel too overconfident,
Right. Yeah.
right? Your first store and second store are just catching. Your first store actually went down the drains because you moved to your second store. I was only attending
Yeah.
customers.
You were focusing on the second one. Yeah.
So without having processes, foundations, I just opened up the third store.
Yeah.
Right? The reason I will say is 2008 was too many expenses together. Marriage, another
Right.
store, a new car.
Right.
So I think I didn't do cash flow management well.
Sure.
I was just all over the place at that point in time.
Yeah. No, and that's
Sometimes you need to prioritize.
yeah.
Everybody is like, the timing has to be right. It doesn't mean you have to do it, means you have to do it now. You can
Yeah.
always wait.
Yeah.
And that has taught me, this entire business has taught me that you need to be patiently waiting. You will sometimes we see a store, we're like, no, this is the best store I will get. If I don't get this, I'm doomed.
Yeah.
But then you wait, you get a better store on the same road.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
your store is only one time. You put the capex. You can't keep removing it. It's not like online, right? It's like offline. You put the capex. And if you get another store next door which is very good,
You can't take it.
you can't take that and take this also,
Yeah.
right? So that's the whole thing about retail.
Yeah,
You need to
yeah.
get it right at the right time.
Yeah. No, makes sense. And when you were still bootstrapped with angel investments, like how was that scaling, right? Like what would you look at when you were scaling up in terms of new stores? What was it that you were looking at then versus now, and how has that evolved?
So at that point in time, I think I've opened myself close to about 150 stores. I've met every landlord.
Right.
Every landlord is on my phone list.
Yeah.
Till I went to about 200, and then we had a VP who basically scaled up. Uh, I think that gut feel is first. You need to go there and stand in front of the store. I visit the store twice, in the day and in the evening,
Right.
in the weekend and the weekday.
Yeah.
My logic is very simple. Whichever store I go to, I buy a product from the store nearby.
Hmm.
Say if it's a medical shop, I'll buy one product from there. After 1 week, I'll go buy another product. I'll see the bill cuts.
The bill numbers.
So how many
Okay.
customers have come to that store?
Right.
Is this a footfall area?
Yeah.
Right. So I will know traffic. See, retail is all about gut feel. You either have to go to a market or you have to go to competition.
Yeah.
And you have to go to competition which is doing good.
Correct. That means you have to be you also have to be really, really good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So our logic is very simple, that you need to go to a location where the consumer comes.
Yeah.
You can't go to a location where you want the consumer to come.
Yeah. You have to go where they already are.
Where does the market go?
Yeah.
If you want to, like today, I'll tell this philosophy across about the theory of the flower vendor. If you go outside a temple, like you go outside the Balaji temple, all the flower vendors will be next to each other.
Yeah. Correct.
Even if there's a flower vendor selling it at half the price, 20 meters away, nobody's going to go there.
Yeah.
So you need to go where the market is. The market is next to the temple. If you're selling flowers, you have to be next to the temple.
Yeah.
So next to an eye hospital, next to an existing competition, next to a school, next to a retail catchment.
Hmm.
That's important.
Yeah.
So for me, that was always the mantra. And I was only organizing the unorganized. That is, all my unorganized players were 200, 300 square feet. I was making an organized play.
Yeah.
So I did not go into large format stores and all. So we were very strong on unit economics. 80 to 100 rupees square feet store. 300-400 square feet ka store rahega. 2 people in the store. Whatever it does, the store has to be profitable.
Yeah.
Simple. And we go deeper and deeper. So my store became my competition.
Yeah.
Like in every catchment, wherever you open, my store became my competition. Yeah.
Yeah. And if location is the key, have you started using some bit of tech and AI to figure out where the next location should be?
Just map your competition.
They are already doing what's required.
See, the smartest way is let somebody else create the market, you follow.
Hmm.
Learn from others' mistakes. Learn
Yeah.
from others' data.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who better than, your competition, who has actually created a great brand, whether it is a XYZ or a ABC,
Yeah.
just go right next to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to, you obviously can do market research, and today we use AI, he has AI to say, is this, but they are also going to look at data from competition.
Absolutely.
So that's about it.
Data is
at
the
one
heart of-
point in time, used to use Google Maps
Yeah.
to see what is the pattern, but what better than your competition?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I go next to an eye hospital, I'll tell my team to stand outside the eye hospital, count the number of people going in, right? The same exercise will be done by another staff on another day. Is it mapping? If they're getting about, say, 40, 50 patients a day, I'm sure 4-5 people will need glasses. Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah. And if we look, unpeel the layers on what does Specsmakers stands for, right? Because you did mention about product and the experience that the customers have, but what are the different areas that you look at, even if it's a small format store? What are the key elements that make that a Specsmaker store?
Great customer service. That's something that we still are outstanding.
Yeah.
My staff really go that extra mile.
Right.
They don't let that customer, even if it's not our mistake, we accept it.
Yeah.
That's fine. So at any point in time, the customer can reach out to CEO at Specsmakers and I reply. I personally get into it if there's an issue.
Nice.
Today, thanks LinkedIn, through LinkedIn people connect with you. See,
Okay.
there will be errors, there will be delays,
some,
there will
yeah.
be mistakes. But you have to reply to your customer. Second is, I think, value for money. Great value for money is what we provide. We are not cheap.
Yeah.
We are not super premium. But a product worth 10-12,000 at Specsmakers will get at 3 to 4,000.
Yeah.
That value for money. We are the middle and upper middle class catering optician who's looking for that great value for money, functionality, quality, and service.
Yeah.
We are very inclusive. We will not make you stand out from the crowd.
Yeah.
We are not fashion.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we don't make you look good. But our priorities make you see good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, that was one of the things I was looking at as well, right? I think the other brands, the other retail brands are also trying to over-index on style, over-index on fashion.
See, everybody wants to do a Me Too, right?
Yeah.
Because somebody's got it right.
Correct.
You can't be saying that, okay, I will also do it. Like today, look at
Yeah.
Zudio. After Zudio, you have Ustar, Own, Style. Everybody's trying to copy.
Correct.
So, see, end of the day, retail has got X consumer base. Everybody's only taking a share of the consumer base.
Correct. It's not like consumers are buying more specs.
It's not that more consumers are growing.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's the same. If there are 100 consumers, you are getting 20, competition getting 40, others are getting 60. Try targeting the people who are going to others.
Yeah.
Why target your competition?
Yeah.
Like
The unorganized has enough.
Chennai's got 4,000 optical stores.
Yeah.
Me and Lenskart together are not even 200.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about the 3,800? They're doing business. No, let's target those consumers.
Yeah.
Why run behind competition? Run behind where the market is going.
Yeah. And because this category is also got that, like you said, that eye test, there is a medical angle to it. How do you find the right balance of quality, medical sort of trust, as well as the price point, right? Because as you also said, people perceive that if it's more expensive, at least historically, that it's great, or even from a hospital lens or a healthcare lens, right? So how do you, because this category is not just another retail.
Yeah.
There is also medical angle.
It's
to it.
quasi-medical.
Yeah.
It's medical and retail together.
Yeah.
So in this category, people have only been used to paying high.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Okay. Because people have only, so today, nobody knows what brand of lens you're wearing.
yeah, neither
But
do
you're
I.
paying through the roof for the lens.
Right.
Why does a person pay for the brand? To at least show the brand, right? I'm wearing a Gucci, Armani, Prada.
Yeah.
But on lens, the unfortunate part is only the seller and the wearer know it, not the other person.
Yeah.
So you have to be forcibly feeling good. I paid more, so it is good.
Yeah. It's a self.
Self-appreciation,
Yeah.
right? It's like, हाँ अच्छा ही रहेगा. But I think for us at Specsmakers, we believe in three things: precision, perfection, and personalization. So every pair is personalized. It's recommended to your wallet, to your vision, to your ask.
Yeah.
If you want something for 2,000 rupees, we have a good quality. You want something for 20,000 rupees, we have a very good quality. But doesn't mean that one for 2,000 is not a good quality.
Yeah.
We don't alienate the customer that if you want something for 2,000, we don't have the quality.
Yeah.
We have it at every stage. Point one. Point two, we manufacture our own.
Yeah.
Point number three, everything from the optometrist is trained. They are a qualified optometrist, either a diploma or a bachelor's.
Right.
We don't have untrained people. So every eye test done is done to the perfection, right? Point number four, precision. We use very high-end machines to fit the lenses. It's not done by hand. Our machines today, we have two machines worth 8 crores each.
Oh wow. Okay.
They are from MEI from Italy. They're completely robotic. Completely robotic. So there's no manual intervention here.
Right.
Right? Because it can do even 1,000 jobs a day.
Yeah.
A human can do only 100. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we have that kind of machinery at the stores. So, for us, QC, precision, perfection, all that's very important. So, one, at assessment, the optometrist has to be very good. So, they are trained very well, they are motivated very well. End of the day, they are like doctors, right?
Yeah.
They are telling you what your power is.
Correct.
Right? And then we are the craftsmen. We then make it as per your power.
Yeah.
But we make it at a price which is affordable to people. See, we don't want to be luxury.
Correct. Absolutely.
We want customers to keep buying multiple pairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely makes sense. And
Like for example, you're wearing a very high powered glass.
correct.
We can curate something that is made very thin for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
But something at us, if it is 10, 15,000, in other brands it will be some 30, 40,000.
Yeah.
Now, would I say mine is not good? Absolutely not. Because my white labeling is done by a lot of brands.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one whole thing. It's like the tire industry.
Yeah.
Right? But we take authority and ownership if there's something wrong.
Yeah. And you own the experience, right? And that
You own the
makes a big
experience.
difference.
Yeah. So we are expertise. We never gave a great experience earlier because we are small format stores. Now we've changed it by having slightly larger format stores. So expertise and experience is now blending.
Sure.
That's what is our new strategy of slightly going 500 to 600 square feet stores with a better experience in the store.
Got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been to one of the newer ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
fantastic. I think it looks great. And have there some things changed from the bootstrapping journey to now, right? And like you said, you've scaled and then scaled down and scaled back up again. And I think now there is more fuel for growth. But how is that from that bootstrapping mindset to now probably a profitable growth mindset? Like what has been the key changes there?
See, bootstrapping mindset has to always be there, whether you're a 100 crore company or a 1,000 crore company. Right? That's in our DNA.
Yeah,
But growth comes at a cost.
absolutely.
It comes at a cost.
Yeah,
Founder burning,
yeah,
capital burning, right? And your entire energy has to be in one direction. That vision has to be up. Like today, we know that we've hired so many people in our office
right,
for the vision of going to 1,000 stores.
right.
So you should have that patience also, that you need to scale faster. If you don't scale faster, then you'll always keep thinking that you're burning.
Yeah,
So that that catch-22 situation. Do I get more people and then grow, or do I grow and then get more people? But without people, you can't grow.
yeah,
Without growing, you can't afford people.
yeah.
You've been there.
It's a tricky balance. Yeah,
Yeah, you've been there, right? So,
yeah,
but at one point in time, your investments will pay out when you actually hit that North Star.
absolutely.
There is one kind of hockey stick point beyond which number of stores this cost becomes affordable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And
we did that. Post-COVID, we cut down huge cost.
yeah, what were some of those? Where all did you cut down? I know you
We
also shut
stopped
down some
expansion.
stores. Yeah,
Shutting stores is the easiest. Opening
Yeah.
and shutting stores is the easiest.
yeah,
But you went from optimizing cost from 3 to 4 manpower to 2 to 3 manpower. That is 33%. We went on from optimizing electricity cost in the store.
right.
We went on to optimizing store timings. We started kind of, ensuring
Increasing.
that stores are open more on weekends and not open much on weekdays.
Got it.
Timings as such, we are open every day. We kind of went towards premiumizing certain products. We went to basically understanding how to reduce our dead inventory and unsold inventory. And last but not the least, wherever we could feel that we don't need this person for, currently we're not going to grow, we are going to sustain in COVID.
Yeah, yeah,
So I don't have a vision for the next 2 years, so let them go.
yeah,
And you have to be very honest about it. There is nothing that you have to be emotional about it. It's a business. I was very emotional with the business in the starting, but now I'm very practical.
yeah,
Yeah. It you can fall in love with it, but you can't own it. Yeah.
And you have to keep evolving. And
Yeah,
for that,
yeah,
you have
yeah.
to let go in that sense.
It's like your kid, right? You love it, but you have to train it to the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Want to shift a bit towards the product philosophy that you have, and I'm sure it's evolved over time. But in terms of, I was looking at some of the feedback online as well. A lot of customers seem to love the fact that Specsmakers products are more durable and sturdy, and like you said, it may not be 10 on 10 on fashion and style, but when it comes to the product quality and durability, it's
Oh,
very
yeah,
very
yeah.
high. So how do you differentiate that between you and the competitors, and is that one of the important product ingredients that you focused on?
South, at least fortunately, people love fashion, but they don't want to accept it.
Yeah,
Right? I mean, the demographics of South is people want to try something out of the box to look
Yeah.
at, but when it comes to wearing it, they're like, no, black, blue is fine.
yeah.
Right?
Do
I
black and blue sell the most even
In
today?
South, yes, black,
Yeah.
blue, grey,
Yeah,
yeah, but not like in a Delhi, like
Yeah.
an orange, pink, and a purple,
yeah,
right? Maybe even everything changes here. So I think on fashion, if you're 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10, on durability and function, you're 10 out of 10.
yeah,
There's no two ways about compromising there, not at all. We are like Toyota. We will not give you a sexy
reliable.
dashboard,
yeah,
but we will give you the best tires and suspension.
yeah. It's reliable and it'll not fail you.
If
yeah.
you want to wear, see, this is the only product that you wear it when you get up and you take it off when you go to sleep.
Yeah,
It has to stay there for 14, 15, 16 hours, whether you're partying, whether you're in a serious meeting, whether you're working, whether you're jogging,
Yeah.
you're doing whatever.
yeah,
So this can't go wrong.
yeah,
It can't be so heavy that it leaves a mark. It can't be so light that it flies away.
yeah.
It can't get scratched because you don't have a cloth every time to clean it.
Correct.
So it has to be durable, sturdy, and also look good.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to look sexy, but.
yeah,
So for me, we are like Toyota of eyewear.
yeah,
We are like Indigo.
yeah,
No frills, but we will fly. We will not cancel our flights. We will be on time. We'll give you the service that is required best for a consumer.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to give you first class, premium economy, luxury, sexy looking air hostess, not all
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No,
we
makes
are like
sense.
very functional.
Yeah. Now, continuing on the product conversation, I think you also have your own products, right? From frames to lenses to, I saw even lens solution. You have the whole gamut of products, right? When did that journey start, and has that been a key element of profitability for Specsmakers?
So we moved to single brand retail from 2010,
Right.
right? So we've always been kind of developing on what the consumer wants, like as simple as from kids to
Yeah.
adults to sunglasses to eyeglasses, and we've been product innovators.
Yeah.
So we were the first in India to launch something called a clip-on,
Yeah.
where on your glasses you have a clip-on, right? So we were the first to start that. We were the first to start computer glasses when COVID struck.
Nice.
You
I
know,
saw you have glow in the dark glasses for
yeah,
kids. I
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
So,
Yeah.
but I think we never had the marketing ammunition to market it,
Hmm.
right? Right. So that's one place where I think we never capitalized ourselves. If you ask me, I would should I have opened 100 stores less and put that capital into marketing? Yes.
Hmm.
That is one place where I will say that I did not take the right call. The next point is at product level, we've been innovators always. We always keep developing. We never had product designers until 2 years ago. Now we
Right.
have a team of 8 people.
Nice.
So product designers basically design the product based on consumer research, what they want, and a lot of things go behind a product. A lot of things, and it's what you see is only the finished product.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
seeing the new collection launch, the streetwear collection, the OG by
The
Street.
OG, the
Yeah,
original,
very
yeah.
interesting. Are you also trying to see how do you expand the collection to reach newer audience cohorts?
So OG is a collection that we launched for sunglasses,
Yeah.
basically for college kids and
Yeah. Yeah.
youngsters, and that is basically aspirations taken from gangster community,
Right. Yeah.
the original gangster, right?
Yeah.
It's again, see, your product team always want to come out with something new. You have to give them that freedom of
Correct.
trying out something which they want to also do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, see, product guys are creative guys. If you
Yeah.
tell them this is not going to work, then how will you know? So I think the product team did a fantastic job. The names they gave to the collection,
Yeah.
the shapes they made on the collection, and it's been a fast sellers right now. I think we got it 2 months ago and we have sold out 60%.
Nice.
So we've reordered again the entire collection completely. But we launched something before this called the Astralis, which is I just gave them an idea. Why don't you launch collection based on people's zodiac?
Yeah.
Then we launched something called the Heritage Collection. Basically, India being India, wherever people can basically get a lot of ethnic kind of collection, right?
Right.
Something of that sort. So all these collections are about 20-30% of your entire portfolio.
Yeah.
But your core collection, which moves the fastest, it always has to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like black and blues will always be there.
Yeah.
But these are things which make people aspirational. They want to try.
Yeah. 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 And you did say marketing is something you underinvested in. Are you changing that? What is your way forward for marketing?
I think as a founder, the biggest mistake you can make is that you will do it all.
Yeah.
You're in that position, but you don't understand what it is. 3-4 places I think where we missed the bus was, I would say, not going heavy on digital, which was, I still take your advice, 8-9 years ago.
Yeah.
We worked in the past.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand digital doesn't mean nobody knows to do digital.
Yeah.
That was the biggest mistake I made. While you had your competition coming in online, you never took that vertical. But I was right that online will not work.
Yeah, correct.
But online will make you build a brand.
Yeah, it influences decisions.
I was not a guy chasing valuation.
Yeah,
People who are chasing valuation were going online.
absolutely.
But if you tell me today that should I have kind of gone there, if I had the DNA, I would have.
Yeah.
But I'm a hardcore retail guy.
Yes.
I'm not a e-tail guy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So for me, it never kind of bought in that how will consumers buy something online? It's not possible. But when COVID shuttered my stores, I launched a website in less than 15 days.
Yeah,
Right, but people didn't have a choice. So market was going online, so I went online.
yeah,
Right, so, but I think today, I never invested on social media, on social digital advertising. I was only front page, full page, front page, full page.
yeah.
Because
From many years, yeah.
because I was very demographic, right? I was
Yeah.
doing Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad. That's
Yeah.
it. So I don't care what it is. So I think we created a big brand over there. I was very clear I don't want to be fashion, so that space I was absolutely right. We didn't have the marketing ammunition like how competition had.
Yeah.
We would have been at like 1/100th of their marketing budgets. So obviously, but we were doing sales per square feet as good as them.
Yeah.
Your sales per store, they'll be much higher, but my stores was small.
Yeah. Efficiency is
Efficiency
high.
and productivity what worked for me the most.
Yeah.
That's why for me to turn profitable was very, very easy.
Yeah.
Right? Very easy. But if you ask me now, should I have spent? I was the first guy to have a brand ambassador in eyewear industry, Ravichandran Ashwin.
Yes, correct.
Then I had Vishwanathan Anand,
Yeah.
right? So I always invested in more serious brand ambassadors who are sophisticated, who are very value for money, the typical, kind of Tambram culture, not fashion anytime,
Yeah.
very functionality. So should I have spent more in marketing? I would say yes, but I didn't know how to spend in marketing. I was praying and praying.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's something. I think investing on a marketing head long, long ago would have been a good thing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. In fact, we've seen brands that succeed do have a strong ecosystem internally to drive it. And the founder's conviction
Yeah.
that this is
The
important.
founders thinking that they can do anything and they are the best at it is the biggest myth.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
The
makes
founder
sense.
can only give vision.
Yeah.
The professionals have to drive it.
Yeah. And obviously, as you rightly said, digital sales might still not be very profitable, but digital still influences consumers
I
who
think
go
digital
offline.
today is become the decision making.
Yeah.
Offline is still the transaction.
Yeah, absolutely. Even today, yes. Across categories.
Yeah. So I think my biggest mistake that I would say is that underinvesting on people
Yeah.
earlier, trying to heavy lift on your own everything, but you're at different stages, right? You're capital constrained,
Yeah.
or you're kind of in a situation where you don't want to spend too much, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But we were all having our company owned stores only then, so all your capital is going to company owned stores.
Yeah.
Had I been franchising then and investing the money in marketing, that'd been a different ball game,
Yeah. No, absolutely.
which we are doing now.
Yeah.
Even though we are franchising, we control the experience.
Yeah, you come. I just see that
Yeah.
you're franchisee, but company operated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So franchise only are partners.
Yeah.
So basically, somebody wants to partner with Specsmakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want
It's an
somebody to come
investment for them, but they
Yes.
don't run it operationally.
They don't run it, and we
Yeah.
give some very good returns.
Yeah.
So these are franchises are partners
Yeah.
who say that look, today you invest in mutual fund, you don't know which fund the fund is investing in.
Yeah, correct.
It's like franchising is like that. So people want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, makes a lot of sense. I saw you've recently launched in Zepto as well, which is a big
We did
turn.
see again.
Yeah.
This is the flavor of the
Experiments.
season is quick commerce. So everybody
Yeah.
wants to try. So I told my team try.
Yeah. How has that panned out? Is it early?
mean,
Too early?
Nobody needs glasses in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
But the
his
reading glasses does.
Sunglasses.
No, reading glasses do.
Yeah, sure.
But again, it's a very, very, very small market.
Yeah.
So again, sometimes it's like, do you want to put your 1 hour towards a new 100% or an existing 100%?
Absolutely.
The
yeah.
existing 100% will give you 300% returns. The new 100% will give you 10% returns.
Yeah.
So I told my team, don't bring to me all this. You have this budget of 50-60,000. Jo karna hai karo.
Yeah. Test it and come back.
Test it, come back, scale it.
Yeah.
But it's like today, if I spend $1 in Chennai, I get back $5. I spend $1 in Hyderabad, I get back $2. So will you say, should I open a store in Delhi and spend $1? I'll get back half a dollar, because there's always accumulated of brand value attached.
Absolutely.
So see, that's a lot of people try to do the Me Too, right? I want to be also there. I also want to be on Zepto. But sometimes for your people, you have to tell them, okay, try karo. If you tell them no for everything,
Yeah.
then they are not excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how it is.
Yeah. And you mentioned about franchisees, right? And that's obviously a way many brands scale up, but you've kept the experience and the control at your end.
We want to control the consumer experience. We want to control the product at the store, everything. Why? Because I'll tell you, we are not here to create entrepreneurs.
Right. Yeah.
We are not here to create entrepreneurs. So when you give it to a franchisee, India does not have the great legal laws of franchising. I still remember in Boston, my friend, he was opening a sandwich store. Okay. And he gave a franchisee. Okay. 3 months it went on to building the store. Everything was right. Paperwork, everything was right. I can't name the brand, but he was basically setting up the store. People were hired, everything is done. On the day of the opening, the brand name is changed.
Oh, wow.
The property is in the franchisee's name. The franchisees made the investment. The people have come to work. Everything is done.
Right.
So at least I want to have FOCO as a model. Franchisee owned, company operated.
Yeah.
Where basically people who can continue their own business profession, but this can be an investment.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We at par surely will give better returns than anything else because the stock market is given 0% in 18 months.
That's true. Very true.
Yeah, but it is secured.
Yeah.
You're safe. It's not that you can write off nothing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's fine. But yeah, we have dime a dozen inquiries from across India.
Yeah.
But we are focusing on
On
South.
South India. Yeah.
But they're like, no, I am based in Noida. I want to take it. I said, doesn't matter where. You don't invest in a company in the city you stay, right? If it's a
Yeah.
mutual fund, you can invest anywhere. So you should take. It's only 35, 40 lakhs.
Yeah.
People are now kind of talking and they're wanting more stores.
Yeah.
And we don't want too many people, right? So
Yeah.
people, they're like, they want to be a part of the brand.
Yeah.
So IT guys come a lot.
Nice.
They come a lot from Bangalore. They're saying, I'll take one store and I'll send my friends and family. Because you get straight away a percentage on sales
Yeah.
and expenses on me.
Yeah.
So this is a model that we were the first to launch in India, FOCO.
Hmm.
We started this from 2020,
Nice.
2017 rather.
Yeah.
We have 45 stores right now, which is franchised.
Got it. 20% of the stores roughly
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
And how have you scaled the quality at the scale, right? And how will that change with 1,000? Like how are you looking at it?
No, I think you need to plan for capacity.
Yeah.
Today, we are neck deep in orders.
Yeah.
Neck deep. So we are not able to actually finish things on time. So now we've ordered more capacity, we ordered more machinery, we've ordered more infrastructure. We moved in from a 3,000 square feet manufacturing facility to a 20,000 in Alapakam now.
Nice.
But now again, this 20,000 is for 500 stores.
Yeah.
But you need to plan it ahead.
Yeah.
I can't not plan it today, and that's an investment which I have to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think at a product level, quality level, capacity utilization level, we have to plan 1 year ahead in time.
Yeah. But at the store level, you've been able to sort of structure it to scale now?
Yeah, we are sorted.
At the store level, you have the
See, but retail
SOPs
every day
in-
will have a challenge. Staff
Yeah.
will not turn up. Staff will have an integrity issue. This, that. Retail
Yeah.
is every day is a new experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody can say I've cracked retail.
Yeah.
You can't. Retail is not a boardroom business. You have to be on the field. You have to keep having something or the other, understanding. There'll be some issues someday or the other.
Yeah.
It is as simple as, the neighboring shop will put up a signage suddenly in front of your shop.
Everything changes.
Then your
At least for a
footfalls-
few days, yeah.
So you need to watch your store every day as if it's a new store.
Hmm.
So we do a lot of retail is about execution. It's not about opening a store.
How do you track this at across your stores?
So we have an audit software that we use basically. What happens in that is every day the store staff has to take certain level of photographs of the planogram of the store, the merchandise of the store look and feel from 50 meters away, 100 meters away.
Got it.
So every day, see, when you look at your store, without seeing the board, you'll enter the store.
Yeah.
But you need to go every day 50 meters away and see, is my visibility getting blocked?
Got it.
I was in one of my stores yesterday. It's a new store, but look at it. We still kind of made a mistake. There's certain VM material which you put on a store facade, right?
Yeah.
One of the glass doors had broken, so a new glass door had come. But the VM on the glass door was not done.
Hmm.
It's a high prime, high street store.
Right.
And if you're not doing a VM on that,
Yeah.
it's a miss.
Yeah.
I would not blame anybody. But had we caught it in our operational audit, we'd have done it in 2 days.
Yeah.
That would increase my footfall by 3-4 people more per day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's all about execution.
Yeah.
It's not about,
Ruthless execution.
you can't compromise on execution.
Yeah.
I think that's one place where retail you have to be very strong. You
Yeah.
have to be like IKEA.
Yeah.
Amazing execution.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And they just started
Yeah.
deliveries to Chennai as well. So
Execution is
Yeah.
look at Domino's Pizza.
yeah.
That SOP of the store manager will be so perfect.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
processes drive business, not people. People only follow processes.
Yeah. No, makes sense.
People always ask me, "Itni dukaan kholta hai, how do you find people?" I said, even if I replace my store manager by another person, he has to read through the SOP, finish it.
Yeah.
Then he will know what he has to do. From as simple as if a customer comes with this complaint, what do you have to do? Thanks now to AI and chatbots and all everything we are training them online.
Yeah.
But training, executing is the key.
Yeah.
Retail is a very intensive business.
Yeah. It's also processor.
And when you're managing on your own.
Yeah.
These are not franchisee operated stores where the franchisee is sitting at home and you're like, okay, to aaj banda nahi aaya, tomorrow I'll see it. The staff reports to franchisee over there. So you don't know what's happening in the store.
Correct.
So now we also have gone that extra mile to understand consumer journeys inside the store and understand consumer experience. We have a surveillance team of 10 people.
Yeah. Nice.
I have like 20 TVs on a surveillance room.
Yeah.
They only map consumer experience.
Nice.
If a customer is coming in this store, is he going left, right or right?
Yeah.
Then we do some heat map. See, I'm not a tech guy, AI nahi aata, but these guys give me data.
Yeah.
Then you take a sample data and extrapolate across.
Yeah. You get insights from the data that is there.
Yeah, yeah.
Fascinating. Quick note on Make in India, right? And I know you've started some work in Gujarat to assemble
Yeah.
and make products. There's so much talk about it, but there are lots of challenges. So, what have you seen as the top challenges, and how many years away are we from really saying we make in India in this category?
I think it'll come very fast, but more than the category, the raw material ecosystem has to come here.
Right.
You can still make in India, but if your spare parts are made in China, what will you do?
Yeah.
A frame has got almost 20 parts.
I'm sure. Like the hinges, I know is a big part.
Hinges, screw, nose pad,
Yeah.
temple tips,
Yeah.
the acetate, everything, right? So, like Hyundai can put up a factory in Chennai, but if you surround and see Sri Perumbudur has got all the auto ancillary product manufacturers.
Correct.
So, more than make in India, the ecosystem has to come.
Yeah.
And for the ecosystem to come here, there need to be people to make for the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Now, the guy who has to make for the who's going to set up a factory for
Small
temples here?
quantity. Yeah.
When you have somebody who's already invested so much, I think the government has to play an important role in terms of bringing the ecosystem together. You just can't bring a one product finished manufacturer here.
Correct. Yeah.
If you want to bring a car manufacturing, you have to bring a door, steering, wheel, rubber, everything.
Design, research, all of
Everything.
it. Yeah. End to end.
Yeah.
Service. Yeah. Makes sense.
But
Yeah.
I think 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
7 years is what I see.
Yeah. It's
And
still
our
many years
vision
away.
will be, at least now we are doing assembling in India.
Yeah.
We are doing it in a factory. But manufacturing, for me, we'll have to take one category and do manufacturing, because eyewear has so many SKUs.
Yeah.
So you can't do everything together, but I think it'll evolve.
Yeah. No, that's great. We are almost to the end, but I wanted to do two parts. One is the confessions and challenges that you've learned from, and two, like a rapid fire. And we'll end with that. So these can be more crisp and to the point.
Yeah, yeah.
What is the most expensive founder mistake you think you've done?
Most expensive founder mistake that I've done is, I would say that I didn't invest on people.
Got it.
Biggest mistake.
Yeah. Has that changed now?
Yeah. So I'm the dumbest guy in the office.
Ask questions in.
It's best to ask them to do what to do and not tell them to do what to do.
Perfect. All right.
Because if you tell them to do what to do, they are executioners, they're not thinkers.
Yeah.
It's very difficult as a founder to step back.
Yeah.
Right? But I think it works. My team is great now.
Yeah. Absolutely. What was one belief you had when you started out that has completely reversed?
One belief I had that has started completely reversed, that I will fail. I was always worried of failure, but after one point I said, it's okay, it's a business. So it will have a success and a failure. So live with it.
Yeah.
COVID changed it.
Yeah.
I think I was the fastest guy to execute a document to my board in COVID. Less than 24 hours, I made a business plan and sent it to them.
Right. Nice.
My board still tells me that we use that across all our portfolio companies. Yeah,
Nice.
because I said, it's not my mistake of my stores being shut, but I need to take care of my 1,000 employees. I need to make a plan. So I sat that one night and I just made the entire plan. And this is what it is. We don't have a choice. This is what we have to do.
Nice. It'll be good to see that someday.
Yeah.
What are some board level metrics you now track that your younger self would have ignored? What are the metrics you track today?
I track same-store sales growth from day one. I track my service levels at the lab, and I track my attrition.
Talent attrition.
Yeah, my people, my service, and my sales. These three are important to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
What should people listening in over here, what should they copy from a playbook and what should they absolutely not?
I think there is no 100% learning retail. I would say still I would have learned only 30-40%.
Yeah.
Okay, even the biggest of the retailers can fail. Too good to be true, going too fast, right? Unless you have deep pockets.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that they have to learn from, that you cannot do a Me Too. Just because somebody else did it, you cannot do it. Right?
Yeah.
Today I would say my competition has been fantastic at execution. I think they have got it right. Lenskart has done a great job in executing, but they've learned it over a period of time.
Yeah.
Right? The way they have applied tech on every element in retail is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think I admire that company, even though they are my competition. I admire them.
Yeah.
But today, if you ask me what not to take from here, your question was what to take and what not to take.
Correct. From your playbook, what should they take and what should they not?
I think be frugal, even though at whatever level you are.
Yeah.
don't get, today, I made that mistake in 2017 and 2019 where I started chasing only top line, not even having an eye on the bottom line,
Yeah.
right?
We've been there as well.
Yeah. Today, even though I'm investing on people and hence my bottom line kind of tends to, kind of invest back on the capital, I keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
I'm very, very clear on cash flow management. Very clear. I don't want to compromise there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, fantastic.
Yeah.
We'll do a quick rapid fire.
Yeah.
One hiring mistake you make sure you avoid now
One hiring mistake,
that you would avoid.
never never take back people because you like them. Measure them by the KPIs.
Nice. One underrated trait of a store manager.
Not taking up ownership.
Nice. One store metric that you still track daily, or for all your stores perhaps.
Same store sales growth. Yeah. That's important.
Got it. One competitor strength you respect. You did mention tech, but is there something else?
Execution.
Yeah.
Fantastic execution.
Yeah. Nice. With that, then we're almost to the end. What's next for Specsmakers? I know you did mention that you are on a path to continue scaling and scaling profitably, but what is the vision for the next few years, and where is Specsmakers headed?
I think at every stage, our first milestone was it's not about number of stores now. It's about having a larger market share in the market where you're operating.
Right.
I don't want to say that I want to do what my competition has done, but in the market where you're operating, have a double-digit market share.
Right.
That's important. Have great repeat customers. That's important. I think repeat customers are more important than anything else. That metric is important. People coming back to you again and again, and try to serve the consumer for what they want, and ensure that they get it. So, a very great gentleman yesterday I was talking to, who's a marketing guru, told me there is something called mental availability and physical availability. Physical availability is your stores, mental availability is your brand.
Yeah.
I am looking for Specsmakers, but can I find Specsmakers?
Yeah.
So you might advertise and improve the mental availability.
Yeah.
But are you physically available?
Yeah.
So you want to be accessible and affordable. So you want to be more closer to the consumer and not make the consumer travel a lot.
Yeah.
This is no more a destination business.
Yeah. You have to be in the neighborhood store near my house.
It's not a D-Mart where people will travel miles to go and buy something. It has to be accessible, affordable. At the same time, you should be able to access if he has a service issue.
Yeah.
And it's a customer-first business. Customers have dime a dozen choices.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts in terms of tips for anyone who's starting out a journey today in retail? Any inputs on which spaces?
I think if you're starting anything in retail, I do consult with a couple of D2C brands, right? Not consult, but I tell them. Everybody thinks that opening in a mall is the best thing to do. Everybody thinks that, I want to be, like I want to
It's
open.
glamorous, right?
Yeah, I mean, glamorous is not retail.
Yeah. It's not.
Look at D-Mart.
It may look like
Look at D-Mart. The best glamorous balance sheet you can see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Glamour comes on the balance sheet, not on the board.
Yeah.
Right. So efficiency per square feet in retail is far more important than number of square feet you have. If your product is right and your positioning is right, the consumer will travel and come. Look at brand like I always admire this retail brand that I used to look at earlier is it's in the US.
In the affordable segment?
Yeah, like look at Jockey in India.
Yeah.
Fantastic mental and physical availability.
Yeah.
A product that is not seen by the consumer but owned by the consumer, and such a big brand.
Yeah.
Fantastic, right? I mean,
high penetration.
Yeah, high penetration.
Product quality.
Everything is good. There's nothing that you will not say.
Yeah.
Right? And I love the way they kind of, scaled up the business. Whenever.
Yeah.
Physical and mental availability. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's more important over here.
Yeah.
You need to, if you're getting a store in retail, don't go by just I want to open in this mall or that mall. You need to get your unit economics right.
Yeah.
You need to make at least 25-30% operating profit out of that store. Then you can take care of other expenses.
Yeah.
And if you don't have good gross margins, don't get into retail.
Yeah.
It'll kill you.
Yeah.
You see, retail is about inventory turns, gross margin, operating profit, so many things.
Yeah.
It's not buying and selling. Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing. Best wishes to you to scaling
you,
up,
thank you.
and thanks for being here with us and sharing your
Absolutely.
journey.
Pleasure. Yeah.
Thanks, Pratik. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.